Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard. Week 5 of the NFL coming up. We're quarter through the season and 3 teams remain undefeated. And a lot of surprises last weekend. I wanna specifically point out Jameis Winston. Now, it's common knowledge that, Smokey, what do you have to be to make it in LA? To make it big in Hollywood, what do you have to be?
To make it big in Hollywood?
Yeah, in LA, you gotta be famous.
Well, I thought you were asking what do you got to do to be famous?
And we know who's famous.
Oh, famous Jameis.
And that famous man hung 55 on the top 3 defense in the league. Yeah. So that was an intense game. It
was, and I think this Bruce Arians offense is finally starting to come together. I say finally.
I'm kind of glad.
It's only week
Seeing
4.
that, I'm kind of glad that the Niners got him out the way week 1.
Yeah.
And held him to like a couple scores. So seeing that right now, the NFC South second spot might be wide open now.
Oh yeah, of course, that's obvious.
Bucks definitely still in it. So that's gonna be interesting.
They may be contending at this point.
They might if they keep going.
Yeah.
How about our results from last week?
Look at the books. As well as we usually do.
All right.
The entire NFL just seemed weird last week. I mean, there were some great things that happened, but there were some very weird things that happened.
A lot of upsets.
Yeah, and you got me by 1 game once again.
Right. What's the difference? What was the decider?
I had 7. You had 8. The decider was Panthers and Texans.
All right. Oh, I took Kyle Allen, right?
Yes, you did. And I
took Kyle Allen. Yeah, I mean, to your defense, you can't really not take a guy who you just equated with Patrick Mahomes. You kind of have to take the Texans every game now, right? You can't really get out of that.
No, not necessarily, because the team around him is not that great. But right. I stand by.
I can make the case right now that other than quarterback, the Texans have a better offense than the Chiefs.
Oh no, you cannot. That's a bald-faced lie. Go for
the number one receiver in football.
Yeah,
versus not even Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes is throwing record numbers to people you never heard of before.
Yeah, how'd that go for him this week?
Who, Mahomes?
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah,
he won. Led the game-winning drive.
He won.
Best drive he ever made.
He won, but not by passing the ball.
Well, by passing and running the ball, but that's how the offense runs. And isn't he still leading the league by like 200 passing yards?
Yes, but if Deshaun Watson had that offensive line, he would be doing the same thing.
What if Mahomes had D-Hop?
I don't think it'd be much different than Tyreek Hill.
All right. Well, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill right now.
Oh yeah, of course.
But that is a different discussion.
And he's not throwing.
But let's get into week 5
right now either. They had to fight their way to win that game because they.
Oh yeah. The Lions seem for real.
They do.
Gotta hand it to the Lions. I didn't really believe in them much, but it looks pretty good. Let's do some week 5. Let's do some week 5 and see if we can improve on this. So starting off, Rams at the Seahawks.
Yeah, and after this game, the game against the Bucks, man, I really didn't know what to think of the Rams because Goff does not look like the Goff he is hyped up to be, you know. And I've never been big on Jared Goff either. I think it's all McVay. He's the man behind the system there. I'm going with the Seahawks at home in this one, and only because the Seahawks are at home.
Yeah, see, I thought I was going to be the one making the upset pick here, and he also did it. And after that game against the Buccaneers, who can really look past it? But I got the Seahawks too. I'm not sure what the Rams are. I think the Rams are not the same without Todd Gurley at full speed, and now we're seeing how important that guy was to that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that McVay offense builds on, which is a lot of motion, a lot of ghost motion, a lot of play action. Fundamentally requires an established running game, and if you know Todd Gurley isn't 100%, as a linebacker, you're not gonna cheat up to, you're not gonna play the run, commit out 100% to the run when you see that sort of stuff, because he's not going to have the same explosiveness. So you're going to be playing the pass better, and that we've seen that quite significantly. I mean, you can't give up 55 on the defensive end to anyone, let alone the Buccaneers. And this is in Seattle. This is important for the division, and I think if the Rams lose this, they might be going down rather rapidly.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm going to take the Seahawks. I think Russell Wilson is the much better player, and they're at home. So
Russell Wilson has the highest passing completion percentage so far this season as well.
That's really something.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good. Patriots and the Redskins.
Well, there's not much you can really argue about this one. Pats. I mean, that's all we can say. Pats.
The Bills had the game.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they could have had it. They could have won it. Frank Gore's insane. Like, the guy is insane. But yeah, this one is not really a contest. This is not going to be much of anything. Patriots easily, no need to discuss it. But speaking of the Bills, they're playing at the Titans this week.
Yes. I really don't know what to make of this. If Josh Allen is going to be out, the Bills still have a dominant defense. We can't argue that fact. It's really tough, man. I'm going to take the Titans at home. Because the Titans have Yeah, the Titans have a great defense, too. Without Josh Allen, I don't see the Bills putting up many points here.
Well, Josh Allen didn't play very well against the Patriots either, so it didn't matter much. The quarterback. Yeah. It was mostly running game and defense, which is the Patriot method, of course. And I'm gonna stick with the Bills. I think the Bills are a real team. To me, still top 10 team, still a good contender for AFC wildcard. And I mean, they played the Patriots, and no one else plays the Patriots close this year, and no one's going to continue to do that, at least in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to go with the Bills. I think even without Josh Allen, they're going to rely on Frank Gore, they're going to rely on the run game, and they're going to play defense and shut the Titans down, keep them to less than 10 points, and they have a good shot at winning the game. Now, the Ravens and the Steelers.
Well, that's another tough one, because it looks like the Steelers are finally trending up, and the Ravens might be trending down. Even so,
it certainly seemed like it. Yeah, after that game against the Browns.
Even so, and it's hard because they're on the road. But I'm gonna pick the Ravens on the road here. I see that Mason Rudolph is finally getting his wits about him. He's finally, starting to figure out some things there. He's not throwing downfield at all yet. It's all dink and dunk and pass to the running back offense, and that may not hold.
But that's
up
something.
It is definitely something. And I like this kid, Mason Rudolph. I liked him in college at Oklahoma State. Yeah. But I'm gonna stick with the Ravens on this one. I think they pull this out.
Yeah, see, this is an interesting one for me, because you have the two quarterbacks who, when they came out, I was sort of looking at them very, very closely, and I ended up putting Lamar over Mason Rudolph, but it was sort of a toss-up for me for the number 5 spot in that class. And I mean, the Ravens better win this game. Imagine just how much they've been hyped up to AFC Championship game, and they're the one team that could beat Kansas City and the Patriots. Imagine them going 2-3 all of a sudden.
Oh yeah,
like they're one game away from a losing record. So
yeah,
this has to be a win. Pittsburgh, I mean, you beat Cincinnati. Congratulations. That doesn't really do much. You got to beat the Steelers twice this year if you want to contend the division. Browns, Ravens. You got to beat the Steelers twice. Got to beat the Bengals twice, and that's a mandatory win. Jets and the Eagles.
Well, that's another one. We're not going to see Darnold back yet, are we? He probably.
I don't think. I personally don't think so. He's been cleared for non-contact drills, but with a sickness like that, doctors will usually take the safe route. So I don't think he's going to play, even though he's been talking about playing. I don't think he will.
Even with that, I think I'm still going with the Eagles, even if he were to play this week, because the Jets are horrible at this point. I mean, we hoped for much more out of the Jets than what they're putting up, but Darnold gets back, maybe they'll start to put something together. But even so, even if he was back in this game, I don't think he puts it together against the Eagles here.
See, the Eagles are coming off of a long weekend, and they showed their true colors against the Packers. They played really well, and they
did.
Pulled out a big win, and an important win, too. With the Cowboys going down, that division is now up for grabs once again. And this is going to continue because the Jets, that's a must-win. That's a must-win opponent for the Eagles, and they're going to get it done. I'm going to pick the Eagles also. Yes. Now, the Bears and Raiders.
The Raiders didn't look bad. But neither did the Bears. That defense is still dominant. They proved that over and over this season. Going with the Bears for this one.
Going with the Bears
on the road.
I think this is a much more easy call than the stats would have you think. I don't think the Raiders are much anything. 2-2 is more of a fluke than anything else. They are, to me, still down there with the bottom teams in the league. And the Bears have actually been looking up. I was kind of worried after week 1 when they lost to the Packers, obviously, but turning out, seeing how good the Packers actually are, that's not too bad of a loss. And then they had 3 very, very important wins back to back to back. The defense is still hellacious, by the way. After 4 weeks, the defense is on a better on route to be better than the Bears defense of 85. So, with that in mind, they are going to win this game. Vikings and Giants.
Yeah, this is another tough one. Giants are kind of trending up, and Vikings are kind of trending down right now. Kirk Cousins looks like he's probably the most expensive bust at quarterback right now. As far as what
until Dak Prescott signs his contract. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen. But, yeah. Going with the Giants at home, man. I think the only thing the Vikings have at all right now is Dalvin Cook. That is their.
See, my prediction and what I've literally written down for this game is pick against Smokey. That's what I've written down because I don't know.
It's tough.
I don't know what to pick here.
I get it.
I know that the Giants are the cool pick. I'm now obviously going to pick the Vikings. But I kind of expected and wanted you to pick Vikings so I could go Giants again, and give you Daniel Jones for the 3rd time in a row. But yeah, I'm going with the Vikings, man. Dalvin Cook, some of that run game, maybe the Giants will show some kind of weakness and
maybe so.
Get this win home. But I'm not sure. This is a toss-up for me.
Maybe Kirk
Buccaneers
Cousins.
and Saints.
All right. We'll go with the Bucs and the Saints then.
Yeah, I can keep talking about Kirk Cousins if you want.
Well, no, I was just going to say Kirk Cousins maybe can finally throw the ball downfield since he's playing the Giants. I mean, Thielen and Diggs haven't done much of anything. But this is another kind of tough one considering how well the Bucs played the Rams. But the Saints refuse to lose. Even without Drew Brees, they just refuse to lose.
They do.
They're just made a line in the sand. Like, no, we're not going to lose. It doesn't matter what happens. We're not going to lose. So I'm going to say that they keep rolling, keep their win streak going. Saints at home over the Bucs.
Gonna have to agree. Even though I kind of want to pick the Bucs, and imagine if they did win.
Yeah, that's very possible.
It's looking like it right now, but I think we might still have a bit of a flash in a bottle there with that one great win. Obviously, 55. You don't usually maintain that sort of energy over 2 weeks, and then again, you're going from a good offense to a better offense, and you gave up 40 points. Also, Saints defense is pretty good.
Yes,
and you're playing in New Orleans also, so the Saints should win this. I'm gonna go with the safe pick.
Yes.
All right. Your Falcons and the Houston Texans.
Dear God, I didn't want to talk about this game. This is the battle of the no O-line. Both these lines.
You're really trying to sell Deshaun Watson. You really are trying to sell Deshaun Watson.
It's true. Have you watched it? He's getting battered on every single down. Yeah. Who's
so far the quarterback with the highest rate of highest rate being pressured in the league?
Do you have that stat available?
Yeah, I have that stat.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's somewhere between Matt Ryan. Hold on. Since you're bringing this up, you're probably gonna say it's Patrick Mahomes or something like that.
It's Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
A rookie quarterback
sample size.
taking over a terrible defense, currently 2-0.
They do have a horrible O-line, too. And
they do.
Probably
so,
when Sam Darnold gets back, he's going to be in that category as well.
Maybe he might. But, so are you picking your homeboy?
Jesus Christ, man, I'm picking the Titans. I don't.
Wait, it's the Texans.
Yeah, Texans, whatever.
Pick the Texans.
I should have picked the Titans as well. Yeah,
I'm gonna agree with you here. Even though there's always possibility for a breakout game because the talent obviously still is there. But as long as the Falcons don't really figure it out and keep getting these kinds of ugly games, I'm not gonna put any money on them. I'm not gonna predict them to beat or convincingly beat at least decent teams like the Texans. I'm not saying they can't do it. They definitely can, but they have to show me at least once before I start picking them again.
Bold prediction, 15 sacks in this game.
15 sacks in one game.
It's a high number, but it's possible.
You want to bet on it? Do you want to put something on it?
I don't know. I don't know that I want to bet on it, but if that comes true, I'll look like a hero.
Let's do 13. 13 for one monster. I'll give you 13. I'll take the under.
What about 12? Hello?
What do you say?
I guess you cut out. You didn't hear me. What about 12?
All right, yeah. Okay, 12 is fine. So 12, I'll take the under, you take the over?
Yes.
Remind me of that after the recording. I'm writing that down. And exactly 12, no one wins. One can?
Yes, let's do that.
Got it. All right. Let's hope everyone runs the ball a lot. Cardinals and the Bengals.
The Cardinals and the Bengals. Man, there's a lot of tough games on this slate. Really, a lot of toss-ups. Dumpster fires. This is the dumpster fire bowl right here. You know, and I can't say either one is trending in either direction because they're both bottom of the barrel still.
Yeah.
But I guess in this game, I'm thinking there's a possibility Kyler Murray gets going. I mean, we saw Mason.
I'm not going to
get going.
I'm not going to go as far as saying Kyler Murray gets going, but the Cardinals have had quarters and halves this season of looking competent.
Yeah.
Bengals really have not. Except for that first game. For the first game, I got to give them that, but other than that, nothing. So the Cardinals to me should be slightly favored in this, and they should probably win the game if they can get it together for more than one half. So I'm also picking the Cardinals.
Yes.
How about the Jaguars and Panthers?
Man, like I said, these are tough, but I really like what Gardner Minshew is doing down there. I really like this kid. And the Jags seem to be on a roll right now. And I know you're a fan of Kyle Allen.
I like them both.
Yeah.
This was the toughest game to pick for me all week.
Yeah, I mean, the entire slate almost is that tough for me, but except for the few games like the Pats. But I'm going with the Jags on the road.
All right, I'm gonna pick the Panthers. I decided on picking the Panthers mostly on home field advantage because I think those are two very close teams, sort of in a similar situation right now, and in terms of ability, they're also very close to each other, and it's tough. It's very tough to pick because you have seen so little of both quarterbacks. But I think the Panthers, when it comes down to it, will have the more consistent defense, and they're gonna make one more stop. And Gardner Minshew is going to make one more mistake. Panthers have the better running back, better running attack, and they're going to get it done, even though it's going to be a close game.
Yeah,
Broncos and Chargers.
Broncos and Chargers. There's not much to debate about this one. This was not a tough pick. I mean, for God's sakes, the Broncos are on fire. In a bad way.
In a bad way, yeah.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb obviously out for season with the ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they had gotten any sack before, but now it's looking even worse. So at LA should not be a problem. Mandatory win for the Chargers if you want to contend for any sort of wild card. This is a game you got to win. You got to win it twice. The Broncos are really, really bad. I'm still torn about the fact of whether and when I want to see Drew Lock actually start. Because I want to see him start, because I had him obviously was my first overall quarterback. I think he's really good. But I also don't want to see him start like this. The Josh Rosen, Deshaun Kaiser situation.
Dwayne Haskins.
You just don't want him to play like that. Yeah.
I mean, we just saw that. You can't throw the kid out to the wolves in a situation like this.
I hope they'll be careful with him there. But yeah, Chargers, easy pick. How about this one? Packers, Cowboys.
That's another tough one. Considering, I know you're going with the Packers because you just hate the Cowboys.
You know that?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I did that. Okay. you're trying to. I know you're trying to double bait me into picking the Cowboys just to prove the point that I don't hate the Cowboys. Not gonna happen.
know for a fact you're going with the Packers. And not that you told me off mic or anything, but I'm going with the Cowboys only because it's at home, and this is another toss up to me. I mean, we've seen that the Packers,
okay, but what have the Cowboys done so far?
They've beaten some cupcakes. I know that.
Yeah, the three worst teams in the league. Packers beat the Bears, who are looking really good right now. Cowboys, they lost to the Saints, was close. Game. And here's the thing. If Ezekiel Elliott runs for less than 75 yards, Dak Prescott loses every single game, or almost every single game. It's got a 20% win rate when that happens.
But I think he can run on the Packers.
You think they can run on the Packers?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see about that. They'll have to rely on it, but I know I'm picking Aaron Rodgers. I know for sure I'm picking Aaron Rodgers over one of the currently most overrated quarterbacks in the league. And
you really hate Dak, don't you?
Am I why do I hate Dak? Is he not one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league?
I don't.
Is he not? When you ask most people about MVP right now, is he not one of the first 5 guys that would be mentioned?
Yeah, in some circles, I can see that.
And you think he's going to be in that conversation at the end of the season?
No, not at all.
Not even close.
I'm not hearing all this super hype that you must be hearing, though. Like, there are a few loyal Cowboy fans.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm watching too much Skip Bayless, obviously, but I know there's a lot of hype out there for the Cowboys. I mean, look at power rankings after week 3; they were like top 3. They had them at 3 in the power rankings, which is ridiculous. You just beat college teams. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm trusting Aaron Rodgers, and if Dak is still in that conversation, and the Cowboys don't go 9-7 like I think they probably still will, then okay, then maybe I'll look at it differently. But make the playoffs first, because I think the Eagles are still a better team, and I'm picking Aaron Rodgers in this one. Colts and Chiefs.
You can't pick against our Lord and Savior Patrick Mahomes. That would be blasphemy.
I mean, try. You're invited to try.
No, going with the Chiefs.
Listen. If you don't want to listen to me, you're gonna get burned. Eventually, you're gonna pick against the Chiefs. You'll get burned.
Hey, I haven't picked against them yet. I'm not saying I don't believe in the Chiefs. That Chiefs system is amazing. Andy Reid, he's a brilliant coach, and they're definitely going to be contending for the AFC title this season.
They will. And Mahomes is playing better than anyone has ever played football, and he's going to beat the Colts. And the Colts are going to 2-3, and the AFC South is going to be a dogfight. All 4 teams are currently tied at 2-2, and it's going to be interesting, if not very high class, but definitely interesting. Chiefs are running away with it, obviously. And then Monday night, we have the Browns at the Niners.
Here's a fun discussion right here. We still don't know what to make of the Browns, do we? I mean, are they what we thought they are? They've looked like it in at least that last game. Nick Chubb is amazing. That guy is one of the best. He
really is.
One of the best running backs in the NFL right now. I'd put him up there with Zeke, and he's not necessarily a pass catcher like Kamara or Christian McCaffrey, but as far as a just downhill bruising running back, he's got to be up there with Zeke, and I would put him over Marlon Mack and Derrick Henry. But I said all that to say this: your 49ers are going to lose this game. And that's all I got to say about that.
Here's the thing, and I thought about this a lot, and first of all, it completely depends on what versions of both teams are showing up, because this could be anything between 50-0 to 0-50, honestly, depending on what version of what team shows up.
Yeah.
One thing that makes me very uncomfortable is seeing the Browns just play the Ravens, and that's one of the best teams in the league, one of the best defenses in the league, and they torched them. Freddie Kitchens all of a sudden started being able to call plays. Nick Chubb ran away with it. Yes. Something that makes me confident is that what does Baker Mayfield struggle against? Tall defensive linemen. What do the Ravens do? They clear out their D tackles. Brandon Williams not starting, and they bring pressure through the middle of the second level, but that's okay. DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead are 6'7", Nick Bosa 6'5". He's gonna have hands in his face all day, and if that interior or defensive line gets their hands up, he's not completing passes. He's not completing underneath passes. So Nick Chubb better be able to run.
Yes.
The Ravens defense is very strong. This is a very strong defense. Listen, if the Browns beat those two defenses back to back, I think they're for real. I think the offense has started to click. Biggest mismatch is going to be whatever receiver is on Jason Verrett, because Akala Witherspoon's injured for the Niners, and Richard Sherman can only cover one guy. So Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, that's going to be a mismatch, and he's going to have to be doubled, and that could cause some trouble if the 49ers pass rush doesn't get home the way it has been so far. Hopefully they will. That being said, I'll pick the Niners. I have to be confident in their ability to win this game. I think this could be the closest one. This could be the closest one so far. If the Browns play the way that they did against the Ravens, this is going to be the hardest test for San Francisco so far. If they play like they did before, the Browns might get blown out. But
you know what?
It depends completely on who shows up.
You know what I think this is going to come down to is who takes the lead first. Because if the Browns get out ahead, maybe even by one touchdown, they're going to pound the ball over and over. They're not going to leave it in the hands of Baker Mayfield throwing downfield if they don't have to. And once Nick Chubb gets rolling, it's going to be hard for the 49ers to stop that. But if the 49ers do somehow pull out ahead early, then Baker Mayfield's going to try to throw downfield, and he's going to try to beat the
and he's going to make
backfield. Mistakes. Yeah,
and then that allows the pass rush to work, which is arguably the strongest unit on the Niners defense.
And I'm going to take the Browns because I think they pull this off. But I will say that's just the caveat that whoever gets out first is probably going to win this game.
All right. So that's our predictions. We will see. Obviously, as always, the honorary bet, one monster on the Browns. Are you taking it?
I'll take it.
You'll take it? All right, gonna write that down later. I'm gonna gladly buy you that can if it goes down. All right, so that's predictions. Obviously, we have the Lions and Dolphins on bye, and how about the Lions? How about the Detroit Lions?
I like.
They were one miracle drive away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs. If it's anyone but Patrick Mahomes, maybe Aaron Rodgers, they're beating the Chiefs.
And I'm pretty sure I was on record on this show saying that Matthew Stafford is going to have positive regression this year and regress back to the mean and back to where he should be as a quarterback. And so far, he has lived up to that promise.
He's been good. He's been really good. But the thing is, when is Matthew Stafford always good? First quarter of the season, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
He's one of those guys who's always in the MVP conversation after week 4.
Well, yeah, but he has had seasons where he's held out to the playoffs and then fell apart in the first round.
And I want that to happen, by the way. I like the Lions. I want the Lions to win the division.
Me too.
I want them to do well.
Yeah.
I really do. But, they held it really close. And so far, there's no reason for me to say that they're bad. Obviously, they should have beaten the Cardinals in week 1. And they should have been 3-1 with one Patrick Mahomes drive away from being 4-0. And if it were that way, instead of 2-1-1, we'd be talking completely differently about him. But I think we got to look at what we've actually seen in play, and that's a very strong team. Very, very solid. Something that I would have not believed. And to me, one of the best teams in that division, and even in the conference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And on the other side, you have the Dolphins.
This comedy. Every time I think about the Dolphins, it's like I'm watching some old Benny Hill sketch on the field. Yeah. Like you could play that Benny Hill music behind their games and watch them run around
behind the fumbles. Yeah,
yeah.
It's sad, honestly. I still obviously have the Cincinnati bat going that they're drafting Tua, and I'm currently seeing 2 outs for that, and one being that Josh Rosen actually shows up that he can play, and maybe they're like 0-10, and he's like, oh, they're gonna draft Tua, and they're gonna basically draft my replacement if I don't win a game or two, so he wins a game or two, because he's actually not terrible, and they still do play the Jets.
Is he not terrible though?
No, he's not terrible. He's actually good. I know you haven't seen it in the NFL yet, but yeah. Josh Rosen is a professional quarterback. He can play quarterback. He came into the NFL day one ready to play the position.
Well, he seemed like a professional quarterback in college, but so far he has not been a professional quarterback. I mean, only by...
he's been put behind the worst offensive line in the NFL, and now he's put on the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, but offensive lines mean nothing, apparently.
Who said that?
No, I'm just.
Who said that offensive line mean? Who said that offensive lines mean nothing?
I'm just saying. That's the vibe I get. These days.
The game is won and lost in the trenches. Offensive line means a whole lot of things. I'm just saying the Texans' offensive line isn't the worst in the league. Neither is the Falcons.
Thought we were talking about the Dolphins here, man.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the Dolphins. I didn't bring up offensive line. So that's one out, and the other out is someone might goof up and not pick Tua first overall, flat out, because you know how hype works, and you know how the Oklahoma hype machine works. Baker Mayfield should have not gone first overall. Kyler Murray should have not gone anywhere near the first round.
See what you're getting at. Jalen Hurts is going first overall. Confirmed.
Some sucker might bite it, and if that sucker happens to be the GM of a dysfunctional NFL franchise like the Cardinals, like the Browns historically have been, there's a chance. There's a chance. I did not specify that the Bengals were going to pick Tua at 1.
What if the Cardinals trade away Kyler and pick up Jalen Hurts?
So you're going to go from a good, technically sound quarterback to a hyped up guy, and then to another hyped up guy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You know what? They in the NFC West, they can keep rotating. They can keep rotating those glass cannon quarterbacks as much as they want to. I'm cool with that. Let them do that. Yeah, that's fine. The Dolphins would do best to keep Josh Rosen, forego quarterbacks, and stack that team with all the picks that they have. Because Josh Rosen, aside from Tua Tagovailoa, to me is... I said it this year, by the way, but he was the best quarterback available this offseason. And aside from Tua, he's going to be the best quarterback available next season. I'm still going to believe that. I don't think anyone in this year's draft was better than Josh Rosen. Cardinals disagreed. And I had the Dolphins as a big winner of the draft. Not necessarily seeing it this year, but in the future, I believe they are going to be better off for it if they decide to stick with Rosen. So the bet for Tua still is on. Couple teams obviously 0-4, including the Redskins, and they might also be in the hunt. You never know, but depending on how Dwayne Haskins turns out. So if they start him for the rest of the season and he's terrible, or looks terrible at least with that team, he might get the Rosen treatment, because there's no patience with quarterbacks anymore, because there's no time. There's just no time for it.
Well, then Gruden's job is on the line there.
Oh, he's the first. I think he's going to be the first head coach to be fired.
Yeah, I mean, if this keeps up, for sure, I don't see any way around it.
I think he's going to be out. And then someone else is going to come in with a new plan, and you might not like Haskins, and it's a tough scenario. Very tough, because a new head coach, that means everything is going to be thrown across, and then the new quarterback happens, and then we rebuild. So whenever a coach shows up, it's a 3 to 4 year process most of the times.
Head coach of the Washington Redskins next season, Lincoln Riley.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm not putting a bet on
it. And Jalen Hurts, obviously, right? That's what you're thinking.
Yes, exactly.
Oh boy. And that is how a dysfunctional team stay dysfunctional. By the way,
exactly.
That's how it happens. That is exactly how it happens.
Hey, at this rate, he may be the head coach of the Falcons.
Oh boy, you don't want that.
Yeah, probably not.
Do not want that.
I don't know how Matt Ryan would how he would work in that air raid offense.
I don't know. I don't like it. You don't want that. I at least wouldn't want it for my team. So yeah, hopefully not. I think the Falcons though are too well run as an organization to have that sort of thing happen to them. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I doubt it.
Maybe
Probably a Mike McCarthy or something like that is more likely.
Yeah, 8-8, right?
Yeah. Well, at least it's not Jeff Fisher. But you never know.
Well, yeah, fair enough. But Mike McCarthy without Aaron Rodgers, easier to prove himself. Let me just say that. I would have probably. A lot of people have said that the Browns should have gone safe, took Mike McCarthy over Freddie Kitchens. I'm not so sure. See, you don't have an Aaron Rodgers, and you know how people in the NFL elevate other people, and I mean a lot. Matt Patricia right now is looking like one of the exceptions of former Belichick disciples that has gone off to become a successful head coach somewhere else.
Yeah.
And look at former Patriot players. They don't succeed. They really don't anywhere else.
No, not at all.
Someone comes to New England you've never heard of before, and they're Defensive Player of the Year, and that it seems to happen every year somehow.
Yeah, we're
and
watching
when
that
they're gone, you never hear him again.
With Jamie Collins.
When's the last time we said the name Malcolm Butler? When he didn't play in the Super Bowl that time.
Oh yeah, he's disappeared off the face of the earth now. He's probably back here in Georgia hanging out. You know.
I don't even know where is he still with the Titans? I haven't paid attention.
No, is he?
I don't know.
I haven't noticed him.
My point exactly. My point exactly.
I know. I watched for him last season because of the change, and he was horrible.
Yeah. So speaking of the Patriots, though, still most likely scenario for the AFC title game, Patriots and Chiefs. How is having seen those two games, having seen both teams kind of struggle, I want to say, play close. How's your evaluation changed, or maybe not changed? Who are you seeing favored?
As far as what division you cut out there?
The AFC, Patriots and Chiefs.
When they meet after these past two games, I think I'm leaning more toward Chiefs. I think the Chiefs could pull out a victory over the Patriots if they were to play right now at this moment. I would put money on the Chiefs. And
I would agree on that. The Chiefs by no means have a good defense yet, but the Patriots have serious problems. They have serious trouble on offense. Their starting left tackle, their starting center is out, and they cannot or have not been able to do what they do, which is run the ball. And of course they've been relying on defense, and they had that block punt for a touchdown against Buffalo, and 3 interceptions and a forced fumble. But that's not going to happen against offenses like the Chiefs, and you're not going to hold them to 10 points. And I think if they can't pick it up, if they can't pick their run game back up, which is what they do best, they might be in trouble, no matter how good the defense is, because other than that, they've been looking underwhelming. The Patriots haven't done much on offense. Now, granted, they didn't have to yet, but the Chiefs always have to do something on defense. Because the defense is on the field a lot, because the offense scores a lot of points, there's a lot of possessions to go around.
Yeah.
And they haven't been in too many shootouts yet. Not as crazy as like the last year with the Rams, at least. So the defense has gotten better, and the Patriots' offense has gotten worse compared to last year. Sony Michel is not looking too good. Like I said, the whole run game is stuttering. And that could lead to serious issues down the line. Tom Brady right now is not taking hits, and that is to be expected. You've seen him; he's not playing full effort. He's not taking a hit right now. You saw him against the Bills. He was always releasing the ball early, throwing it into the ground. He got, did he get multiple grounding penalties? He was throwing it away all sorts of ways, incompletions, whatever. He even felt someone breathing because he does not want to get hit outside of January. And they have not immediately, but they have some tough games coming up on that schedule. So I see there's a good chance for the Chiefs to potentially have home field advantage in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't look now, but I think Tom Brady's aware of his age finally.
I think he's been aware of his age for a while. Maybe we haven't been, or the media hasn't been, but he's always, or for a while he's been playing younger than he was for sure. But right now he kind of is playing 40. Mm-hmm. And which, it's fair enough. It's probably smart what he's doing. He knows they're going to win the division. He wouldn't have to play a single game in the regular season for the Patriots to win the division. He knows that. And why take any hit at all if you don't have to? Because at that age you really are limiting the amount of hits you're going to take, and you're going to limit that to January when it matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's avoiding hits while Josh Allen is taking hits.
Oh boy,
he's in the concussion protocol.
He is, but how about that hit though? I've seen a lot of discussion about it. We had a weekend with a lot of hits, a lot of questionable hits, and that was one of them. And I'm not sure if I agree with the general consensus so much. He's a quarterback. He's a runner, and let's be honest, Josh Allen led with his head just as much as the defender did in that play.
Yeah.
Did he not?
Yeah. I mean, I can see it. If you're the tackler, you need to get that guy down at any means possible. And if you're running toward a guy and he's got his head down, then there's not much other.
What are you doing? Yeah, you're not going to stand up straight and
take it to the chest
and take his head in your chest plate. It's not going to happen. So I'm going low too. So that's a tough situation for defenders of a quarterback who, by the way, is also not a small guy by any means, 250 pounds or more. It's not like that guy is going to go down easily, and you're not going to just blow at him and he's tackled. Especially if you're a defensive back who weighs less than him. So that's a tough situation. But the regulations of the NFL just are such that that is a penalty now. But other than that, the big one or the most important one, I guess, Devontae's Burfict hit. And that one has sparked a lot of discussion and still does. Now, Burfict has been he's been suspended for the rest of the season, which I don't remember that ever happening for on-field behavior ever.
No, not that I can recall.
So that's the first. Most you see usually is like 3 games for a very egregious play.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is a symptom of Burfict. He knows better. He definitely knows better. He's been fined more than any other defensive player that I can recall ever. And I guess this is just how he tackles. Like, this is just what he does. That's
the point, yeah.
He must believe that he can't tackle any other way. He doesn't know how to wrap up. All he knows how to do is spear. And every year,
and here's my point. And here's my point. And I'm not gonna just take that side and defend him and say he shouldn't be suspended or anything. But I want to at least look at the other side of the argument, and there's a little bit of a hypocrisy going on sometimes, I feel like, because we talk, or everyone likes to talk a lot about how the game has gotten soft, how they throw too many penalties, how quarterbacks are overprotected, all that.
Yeah.
And the hit that he put on Jack Doyle this weekend, that people are outraged over, that TV analysts are calling for his career over, that hit used to not even be a penalty.
Yeah.
There are people in the Hall of Fame who got to the Hall of Fame because of hitting that way for 10, 15 years. So I don't think you can't have it both ways. You can't talk about how the NFL's gotten soft and how they should just let them play, quote unquote, and then demonize the guy for making those hits when he doesn't make those hits. I get it's against the rules. I get that today it's a penalty and it's a suspension, and I get that he's done it a dozen times, and I understand as such a repeat offender, it's not a good image for the NFL to have this guy walking around. So I agree under the given set of rules with the suspension that was handed out.
Mm-hmm. Now, I can definitely see both sides of the argument here. I can definitely see how, the game has gotten a lot softer, and it's for a reason. And most people don't understand that. The reason being, these players are retiring with CTE and other injuries, and coming back to the NFL and saying, we're going to sue
exactly
for everything we can get because we don't have money anymore, and not making any moral judgments against anyone right now, but that's what's happening, and the NFL wants to protect their commodities. They want to protect their pockets, and the only way to do that is to make the game safer and to pull some of the contact out of the sport. And this is just a symptom of it. And Burfict, if he was part of the Steel Curtain in the 70s, he would have been. He'd just
be a guy. He'd just be a linebacker, just another guy.
Yeah, never get a penalty.
No.
Great job at the end of the game. But this is what it's become. And you can almost thank the former players for bringing it to this situation. And Burfict knows the rules.
He does.
He can't.
I mean, with the amount of times that he's been flagged and suspended and fined for these hits, he knows that he can't do this. And given all that background and that history, I agree with the suspension that was handed out. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to stay. There's an appeal going on. It might get reduced to 6 games, which would still be monumental given the context. But I do generally agree with the suspension handed down.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that's just for a situation like this because he has had so many prior incidences, and obviously he's never going to learn. I mean, I'm sure he'll serve out his suspension, be perfectly happy coming back and doing it all over again next season.
Or you think it's going to come back? Say he stays suspended all year.
If someone will have him back, that'll be
exactly
the caveat to the deal. There is
exactly,
and
because are you going to commit to a linebacker who you're running a very real risk of him being suspended all season in week 4?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he'll be in the XFL next season, or coming season, as a matter of fact.
He might. Starts right after the Super Bowl. We talked about it on Trash Talk.
Yeah,
but that's number 2 of 3 Oakland Raider experiment players having failed, and who would have thought that Richie Incognito would be the last man standing?
the quietest one of all.
Yeah, you haven't heard anything from him the entire year. He was Hard Knocks, but
maybe he has rehabilitated himself.
See if one guy can make it throughout the entire season, maybe.
Yeah,
we should put a bet on that, but no, that's not cool. But yeah, Raiders not looking so good, and I'm not sure if anyone's gonna just gladly pick him up after the season, because they have now seen that the NFL is going to take desperate measures. They're going to keep him on for the rest of the year, and you don't want to commit to that. I can see the possibility of the Raiders cutting him, because what do you do with that roster spot? He's done. If the appeal fails, he can't reasonably play this year. What do you do with him?
You want to know who would pick him up for next season? The Patriots.
Who? Yeah. For sure, but they're gonna tell him to not make any of those hits. If he makes one hit there, he's out for immediately, suspension or not. That's so Patriots.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that. That is so Patriots, right? I've heard rumors about the Patriots also being interested in AJ Green now. So we'll see about that. I've heard him linked to Patriots and the Packers.
Yeah. What about AJ Bouye? His partner in crime, Jalen Ramsey, yes.
I don't know. It's gotten a bit quiet around him. I love the storyline when, every other day, sort of like a preschooler, he had another excuse every day for not showing up. I'm sick one day, I got back pain on the other, sort of thing. That was kind of fun. But
his flu lasted all of 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't think the willingness to trade him right now is there, because we look at the NFC South and everyone can win that division, and they want to keep the competitive edge in the house. And without Jalen Ramsey, it's going to look a lot worse. I think if the Jaguars were 1-3, 0-4, if Gardner Minshew hadn't hit at all and they were bottom of the barrel, someone else running away with the division, the situation would look different, and they might be willing to trade him. But right now, they are looking for a playoff spot still.
From what I hear, the Chiefs are interested, though.
I've heard that for weeks. And by the way, that would make the Chiefs in my opinion, the runaway favorites, like by a long shot.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That is the weakest position on the Chiefs roster. And that's the best player available at that position.
Yeah, they've been without their star cornerback for almost 2 seasons now. Season and a half, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they could definitely
use maybe. We'll see.
A guy like Jalen Ramsey.
It's going to cost everything.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
It's going to cost everything. It's going to cost the future. But, I mean, you have your offense locked up. Hey, Reed ain't going anywhere. You got the quarterback. You got the quarterback in the house. You're going to pay him soon, but you have him.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of what the Chiefs... I mean, the Chiefs could offer a first-round pick, but it's going to be in the 30s, obviously.
Yeah, no, they're not going to take the Chiefs first round. That's going to have to be at least 2 first-rounders. This year's and next year's.
Yeah.
Or rather, next year's and 2021.
Mm-hmm. Because they're definitely not pulling a top 10 pick.
No. They might have to put Tyreek Hill on it. Next year's first and Tyreek.
Yeah. I could see that happening. I could see that happening in the first round, and
I've heard about it. Yeah. Because you've seen the Chiefs' offense click without him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not that they wouldn't be even better if he comes back. But and right now they're doing fine.
They drafted Mecole Hardman to take that spot anyway, so
they did.
And it's not looking like they're going to lose anytime soon. So why not?
We'll see. We'll see how it develops. Trade deadline approaching at some point, but. Right now, it doesn't really seem like the willingness from the side of the Jaguars is quite there yet to get rid of him.
Understandable.
It's fair enough. I mean, he's their best player. What do you want to do? I mean, you're trying to win. Your division is wide open. It's competitive. You're going to try to win, but we'll see how that goes. So we have an interesting week coming up. We obviously predicted it. I'm going to write down the bets as we get off the air. And hopefully win me some. Maybe hopefully lose one. Hopefully win some. Hopefully win one and lose one. That would be perfect. the perfect distribution there.
Break even.
Exactly. That's all I need. And but been a cool discussion, and hopefully we'll have some more interesting stuff to talk about next week. Maybe some team will be eliminated from being undefeated, and we'll see who's going to be the last person standing. And there is. I've heard the rumors, I've heard the speculation. We might just see an undefeated Patriots and an undefeated Chiefs team towards the end of the regular season. Duke it out. That would be sweet.
It would, because that's going to be that the matchup of like the Chiefs and the Rams last season.
For sure. That would be great. And that kind of was the Buccaneers and the Rams if you think about it.
Yeah.
This weekend. Yeah, so that's a good candidate for game of the week. For sure. By the way, Mike Evans. Oh boy. Remember when Marcus Peters was like the best cornerback?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
What happened there? Like one year they had Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, the 2 best quarterbacks in football, and what happened now? The defense is torchable.
It is very, very torchable.
Questionable. The record looks
guys are
pretty good.
Getting up in age.
They are. And I think the Rams have a bit. The issue with the Rams is that they might have paid the wrong guys, because they paid Todd Gurley and they paid Jared Goff, and Todd Gurley seems to be on heavy load management in his mid-20s.
5.
Jared Goff
this game.
5. Jared Goff is Kirk Cousins. Honestly, Jared Goff is a slightly more gifted Kirk Cousins. He's a less experienced Tom Brady.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
And you threw a lot of money at him, so we'll see how that turns out. Crucial game at Seattle this weekend, so that's something that I'm going to watch for sure. But thank you everyone for listening to the Scoreboard. Obviously, if you are from Beyond Football, go check out the Trash Talkers YouTube channel for Smokey and his buddy Hollywood. They got some great content there, very entertaining. Definitely go check that out. And if you're watching on their side, come on over to Beyond Football and watch some of my content. Obviously, we'll be back next week with the Week 6 predictions and whatever storylines we're going to get on this weekend of football. It should be an exciting one. So thank you everyone for watching. Drop a like on it. And Smokey, do you have anything to add?
Nope, that'll be it, man. Happy football.
All right. Thanks for being here. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one.
Deuces.